Extra money muscle and second to cash.
Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
This is Teresa Gilbert from the Village Bank.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Good morning and welcome to Old Town Cleveland here on WOOP FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.woopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. Good morning to everyone. Really, it's just us today. My Deb's up at the Tennessee Trailers Association's big event up at Tellico Plains. They'll have people in there today. It's free to the public. You can go up there. The doors open at 1, and you can you can see the exhibits. And then at 2 o'clock, Quentin Bass from the U.S. Forestry Service will be talking about Fort Armistead. And then at a few minutes after that, Laura Spann will be talking about all the properties in Monroe, McMinn that the Cherokees owned all the way up to what they call the Indian boundary. And so everyone's always heard the Indian boundary. Well, she'll be able to tell you that. So that's at Tellico Plains. Absolutely free. Drive up there. The car show is also today, I believe, so go up downtown and do that. And so, like I say, a special shout-out to Ron McElhaney. Had a car wreck yesterday. Young man who's a wrestler down at Bradley. He just graduated and has a scholarship to wrestle in college. And he broke his ankle, so he's okay. Okay. He's going to live. He's just going to be in a little pain there. They're doing surgery on his ankle. So, Ryan, get well soon, and we hope the best for you there. Today, we're going to be talking about the bygone days of downtown Cleveland, Tennessee. And that could have been 5 years ago, or 10 years, or 20, or 15. We got two people in here that are young ladies, must have started working when they're like 3 in downtown. 'Cause they're not that old.
Not that old, really.
But we've got Willie Crumley Gregg,
Yes.
and Jerry Brantley now, and it was Jerry
Bell.
I was going Jerry Lee, but that's a singer, isn't it?
I'd have to
I
sing.
get things running through my mind. Jerry Bell Brantley and Willie Crumley Gregg are in here. Both of them worked a lot in downtown Cleveland. We are excited about having them here today, and every time Willie comes on, she's been on three years ago or something like that. The phones go crazy, so get ready to call again today.
Call us in, yeah.
614-5553. We'll open the phones up in about 15, 20 minutes here. First, good morning, ladies. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Doing
great, Ron.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad to have you here, and
we're really excited.
The answer to any of my questions today is not yes. You got to give a whole total answer here, because we got to do this for 2 hours. Did she tell you how long it was?
No.
No, I didn't
Oh,
tell
she
her. I
tricked you,
tricked her.
didn't she?
She did.
All right.
I'll expect lunch. Maybe breakfast.
Well, Jerry's buying right after we get done here.
Jerry's got the best deal.
Willie, tell us where you worked at in downtown.
I worked there at Thomas Hills when that's what it was, Thomas Hills.
Uh-huh.
The store came in there, I believe, in 1956. Then they opened a ladies' clothing store right beside it when they bought out the Merchants Bank.
Mm-hmm.
They bought out that building. So they opened a men's store. There was 3 partners in that, and of course one Sweetwater and Mr. Bledsoe was from Lenore City. So we all chimed in there, and I come along in 1970 and started working, and worked till the last day is closed, and then some, because we had to take our work home with us, after that. But I had a wonderful time and wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Now, tell us who your parents were and where you lived at growing up.
I was really raised down on Leadmont Valley Road. My dad was John Henry Crumley, my mother Jessie B. Crumley, and my dad was a paraplegic at the age of 1948, I believe, and he would have been 42-year-old. So he spent the rest of his days in a wheelchair.
He said he was working on East Cleveland School?
Yes, he was helping build East Cleveland School, and he fell through the rafters and hit a wheelbarrow of those concrete blocks.
Oh, my goodness.
He walked to his sister's house on Parker Street, and he never walked another step after that. When he laid down, that was it. 7 major operations, and he was one of the friendliest men. He knew everybody in Cleveland, and he was kin to everybody in Cleveland. He acted like that. And so talking part probably come from John Crumley.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably took after that just a little bit there.
I think so. I think we could Jerry liked Dad. She was working at Lawson's. Oh, he loved to go shopping for his mom.
Jerry, now where are your parents, and who were your parents, and where were you from?
My parents is Joe and Jewel Bell, and I was actually born in Detroit, but I've been out of the North for a long, long time. But they were from South Alabama, is where they were from.
L.A., Lower Alabama.
L.A., yeah, L.A., yeah. And Dad had gone up north looking for work back during the Depression, and then as soon as he could get his kids out of the North, he made a beeline south. So we ended up in Marietta. He worked for Lockheed there. But the connection with Cleveland was my aunt, Mary Emma Lawson, and she had managed different little dress shops and things. I know she managed the Davis store that was up there on the corner. She had managed that for several years, but then she wanted to go in business for herself, and she talked Mother and Dad into going into business with her. That's what happened. And as growing up, I mean, I feel like I was raised up there on the corner of Cleveland. Every time I've had another job where I was in that area, I just thought I was home. That's just the way it is. There's something about that town that just gets in your blood, I think.
When did that store open?
57.
57. So you were there before, the store was there before they tore down the beautiful old courthouse and built that ugly thing we got today.
Yeah, and then we watched it.
We watched them tear it down. And
we
protested. We had us a little sign out there, but I don't know what happened.
They didn't listen to us, did they?
We nearly talked about how bad it was, and Mr. Stamper said that they had that big wrecking ball, and they kept hitting it, and it didn't fall.
No, it didn't. It just, I didn't know if it's ever going to get that thing down.
It's sad. A lot of communities have at least saved their old courthouses, and it became a museum or something that nature, and then I could have built it somewhere else.
Right.
But, that was the downtown square, and that was the tradition in those days, keep it down there. But why didn't they just build it back to some way, just build a modern version of the old,
right.
new electrical outlets and things. Well, that's my dad, of course, told me about days when they had the different water fountains.
Yes.
And we've had Avery and Andrew Johnson come in and talk about those early days, and our little intern that could be here today from Bradley High School, he's graduated now and keeps coming back, and we just love him. He was amazed that in a county, in a government facility, that they had they were integrated.
It's probably the law back then.
Oh, well, yeah, well, just nature. So, so you still, and now, did you ever go to the Bohemia?
I did. Yes, I did.
Actually, that is where our clothing store was the old Bohemia Theater. Yeah.
Well, now, the Bohemia, they told me that, I never went to the Bohemia, but they told me that if you went in there, if you got some popcorn, if you just give the rats a
Yeah.
couple, an honorarium, that they go on to the next person. Was that true?
That's true. I'm telling you, those rats were big. You know, 'cause we went in there, we put our feet up in the chair to sit there. I was little, but I sure was afraid of rats. But there was some huge ones in there. But in Jerry and in Lawson's Fashion Center, they had screens set up there. I mean, you could go up there, and I think that might have been the office, wasn't it?
Right, right.
It's on a platform.
What were some of the stores that were downtown? I mean, go back as far as you can. I mean, Woolworths was on up above you.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Cooper's bookstore was right there next
Yeah.
door to us. And, of course, Davis's was still on the corner. What was it, Draper and Darwin?
Yeah, they were still in business.
And Woolworths, J.C. Penney's was down there. Rexall was down there on
Rexall
that
Drive,
same,
yeah.
all that's gone.
More Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, more.
Was Grabbers down there? Next to Stampers?
Gravers. We
Gravers,
called it. Yeah,
Gravers.
Gravers, and then it was over close to Joe Stanford.
Yes.
Stanford. You know, right there. It's a big store, too. I mean, they're nice, you know.
Mhm.
So that was there. We had Able Hardware on down, and then we had,
More Pharmacy.
Hardwick men and ladies clothing was, you know, just the thing.
Then Dooley Drugstore,
Yeah,
not
that's
Dooley
what I
Ice
was gonna
Cream,
say,
Dooley
Dooley Drugstore.
Drugstore.
Yeah, Law's Men's Shop
If
was
you-
right in there,
Yeah.
too, you know, across the street there. And then we had that, McGregor's, or what was
Yeah,
it?
McGregor, I remember that, but
It was something like that right there at the men's store.
Yeah.
And it's, man, it was a high fashion center right there.
C.J. Wilson's.
Then CJ was right beside of that.
I never went in there. Was he open when you were younger? And do you ever remember people going in there?
I don't.
I tell you what he was doing. The store had gotten, you know, old, and
Yeah.
but he went to work every day. And we'd try to get in that store, but he'd sit right up there in the chair, and just like all day long, he'd sit there, and we'd go up there trying to get in. He'd say, "Nope, can't get in. We're not selling nothing." And I mean, they still had all that old stuff.
Well, you know, I think at one time hats were a real big thing, and you know, and I think like the Draper Darwins, they still wrapped up your order in that white paper, you know. So they that my aunt and uncle ran, I think it was Draper and Darwin's, CL and Tommy Hilliard.
Yes.
That was my aunt and uncle. And towards the end of, I guess it was Draper and Darwin's or one of those. How about what was the Strattons up there? What was that?
Yeah, now that Harshbarg and Stratton,
Harshbarger.
Steve Place.
I should say Harsh Brothers. I'm going. Well, I mean, I've got half of everything right today.
Yeah. Harshbarger and
Harshbarger and
Stratton.
Strattons. Yeah.
Their
And,
Appler's shoe store was across the
Appler's, yeah.
Appler's shoe store was across.
At one time, after Apple's kind of closed up one, they had that right there on the corner. You know, that grocery store? We walked to school.
Was that Apple?
Yeah, that apple, them apples and bananas and all that stuff just make you want to go in there. But that right on that very corner sat Callaway Grocery.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was
Callaway or
Yeah.
the grocery store up there. I
And it was-
remember that.
mean, it was what we would think today would be very modern type thing, like a selected type food. They didn't just
And
carry
it was more of a butcher shop, too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Now Specs was right around on the corner
Yeah.
over there, and of course a lot of people was born in Specs. You know, because Bradley Memorial wasn't built until 59 or 60, 58, 59.
Yeah, probably so. Right in there when
One of my aunts was in there in Specs Hospital for several months. She'd had a stroke.
Uh-huh.
And my cousin and I went up there and sat with her. So we'd sit out there in the hall, or we'd sit inside, and we'd watch all the people coming and going. And we had free reign in that hospital. We could go in the kitchen. We could go anywhere we wanted to in there. Yeah, that was
It was just an awesome place. I guess, you know, the Spec Hospital is just something else.
And then you had Pinion's Jewelry there in the bottom of the
Pinion's,
Cherokee Hotel.
And it
course.
was in there. At one time, we had a City Jewelers up there by Draper and Darwin. An older fella owned it. City Jewelers. Of course, we like to go up there, you know, from Thomas Hills and look at all that jewelry because it was good stuff. And then, of course, you know, we had our over there for what's the guy's name that did the glasses and all that? He had a
Horner.
Horner. He
Yeah.
had something in there too, but that was just a booming town.
Oh, yeah.
And on Friday evenings, you walk down the street, you're going to be knocking elbows with something.
And then Lay's Five and Dime.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, go in there and smell that popcorn. Oh, my goodness.
My goodness, you can tell if it's fresh. That's how we'd run out to Thomas Hill to get our bag of popcorn.
Where did you eat at when you worked in downtown? Did you bring your lunch, or did you eat at all? Several choices down there.
Yeah, we had several. I think
Ate a lot at Central Drug Store and Mel's Diner and
And where was Mel's
Townhouse.
Diner?
It was around.
was it around by the Cleveland Daily Banner around there?
No, it was over there towards where the church is, where the Episcopal Church is, on that end of the
Okay.
square, on that side. And then there was a Townhouse restaurant.
Yeah,
About the
And
Grand
then there was a
Restaurant.
town and country, wasn't there? A
Yeah,
town.
that was,
What about the Grand Lunch?
boy,
I don't know. I know about the spot.
Oh, yeah. The
The
Grand
spot.
Lunch was one place when you walked in, they asked you what you wanted, and you told them, and somebody put it on a plate, and you sat down. They were moving you in and out. There was Clyde Osmond
Right.
running
Yes,
that.
they were. And I
Right.
think that guy's name was George or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
I remember they
there was
really-
several cousins, Ronnie and Donnie Osmonds, which was with males.
Yes.
That was, yeah.
Male, it was Clyde's brother.
Yes.
And Ronnie and Donnie worked some down at the Grand Lunch, and the males opened up, and I think they worked more up there. So,
Yeah.
but,
And then I know right above, Duff's Beauty Shop, that's the place to go. Right up, we had to go all the way up them stairs. Then they had a little photo booth over here inside there. And then you go over here to the right, and there's Debbie and Wanda Duff and all of them, had a shop. And then several businesses, lawyers up there. But I remember every time you did a little extra money, you go over and get your picture taken. We thought that's fun.
Wasn't that Don's hat shop or something down there on First Street?
There was a hat shop there, but
Yeah, right down there towards the
you got
the
that ladies'
white-
hats.
Yeah,
Yeah, they was her. She was a Dooley.
mhm.
I think she opened that hat shop,
yeah.
and I mean that was something. Hosiery and hats, millinery. That's what they call it, and it was a booming little store.
Yeah, of course, Moore's Pharmacy on the square
Right.
there.
Right.
And they had a snack bar. Of course, if you had a restaurant, they had a snack bar in it, didn't
That's
they?
right.
Rex
That's
All
what
Drug
it
had a
is.
snack
Yeah.
bar, and then Central Drug,
Central Drug.
Dooley Drug had
Dooley Drug,
sandwiches and things.
And, Woolworths had a great counter there.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
And we'd go up there and eat, and, it was just something else. And then the pharmacy there where Mr. Strickland was, right there close to Lawson's, that was a great place to eat lunch. They could make the best chicken and dressing.
Right.
And they had a full menu, I'm telling you. I think Mr. Bledsoe picked one or two of them for his employees. But they were some fun days.
Do you remember them handling snakes on the courthouse square?
I do, I remember that.
I've heard rumors about it, but I probably ran away. If
I went up there, but I stayed across the street.
That's where we
Yeah.
stayed.
I didn't go over there and get any closer. And we actually had a show on snake handling churches, and there's some very prominent families from here that were very involved in that. And the state laws about handling snakes in public came out of Cleveland, Tennessee, after 3 people died in a week and a half period.
Oh my!
And they died right there.
Well, they got bit in. One guy got bit in the funeral at the services, and at the funeral they put snakes in his coffin. The preacher's preaching, and he got bit and died. Then his brother's preaching his thing, and he got bit and died.
Oh my!
So they actually changed the law, and that was right here in downtown Cleveland where that church was.
Yeah,
And
because we always had, they called it something like the Holy Roly Church or something.
yeah.
And I thought, wow. But it was right in there.
the Church of Holiness with signs following.
Yeah.
Remember Joe Little? Joe Little's family, his father was a pastor and was in some of those churches, and I remember Joe saying that that you had one of those open rafter churches, and they brought the snakes out, and him and his buddy walked them rafters out of that church out there. But yeah, there's a lot of families here, and
Yeah, a lot of them followed after that,
So
And I thought it started over at Dolly Pond. No, I think it started right
well,
here in Cleveland.
the first pastor was George Wayne Ansley, and he was appointed as a Church of God pastor by A.J. Tomlinson.
Now,
And
that
it-
was big time.
Yeah, so he was, and they eventually sort of kicked him out though after he started. But he done preaching here, and then he opened his church over in Dolly Pond.
Yes.
But then there was churches here, and so, but it was a common thing. There was a church out, and there was a church out on Georgetown going out, and it was called the Church with No Doors.
That's it.
And I know why there was a church with no doors there, because a lot of people ran through that thing. They brought those snakes out.
They didn't get me in that one, I tell you. But I said, in my time, I visited trying to get enough information from all these different type churches.
I think if I'd been in there and they'd throw that snake down, I'd said, God, help me get out of here, and I'll get out of the next one all by myself. I just need one time.
I didn't want to really do, but now I've seen it. I saw that going on. I was little, but I remember it because my mom, she almost did that. And my daddy, he said, you don't do that. You don't do that. He said, no. So he got her away from there. But, that old courthouse had a lot of memories, even with stuff like that happening. We had one guy, every Saturday we had a sermon, preached there. And you had different pastors and different ones, but they turned the devil loose one Saturday. And he's dressed up in a red suit, and he's running into the cars, and trying to talk to him. Well, now that created a scene right there. Cleveland Police Department came in on the scene there and put him off the street because he's scaring them people to death. He's just a young guy, but he should have known better. But I reckon we was just Cleveland, Tennessee. We could do what we wanted, is what they thought.
Different times, weren't they?
They were very good.
I forgot what I was going to say now, but a lot of fun in downtown. But around the courthouse, they whittled.
Yes.
And of course, I remember reading some old articles about when they finally had to pass a city ordinance because there was so many cows and pigs hanging around the courthouse square. Because they didn't have fences, and everybody still had a cow or pig, even in.
Pigs, just
Well, you had to have something. The cows, you had to have milk, and that's for the creameries got bigger than the Mayfields, and of course the Dooleys had a creamery, and John. I can't remember all the creameries, but what else in downtown? What went down Inman Street towards 5 Point? Do you remember what was down that way?
Well, you could really. Cunningham's was a store where all you men went to get fitted up for the work clothes, and we had quite a few things right in there.
There was a grocery store down there, too,
Yeah,
wasn't
well,
there?
it was several
It's
different
the
things.
it's the pool thing now, the billiard club.
Yeah.
We had a little, what I remember a lot, there was a little diner. It's in a little,
Yeah, there
used to
was.
be just
Trailer.
gravel lot, but
Yeah.
at one time it was just gravel in there, but they put a little diner in there, and that thing's open all day and all night. Guys and- Yeah.
the Teddy Bear.
Yeah, we had
Oh,
the
Teddy
Teddy
Bear.
Teddy
Bear.
Bear restaurant was down in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
It was
Teddy
on-
Bear over on Church.
Yeah, running
Yeah.
up down Church. It was on the side street.
They made the biggest hamburger in the world. It was really good.
Well, they did. They had,
Kaiser Tower was down through there, and then of course you had all those car dealerships down there. You
yeah, we had Bradley.
Bradley Motors, and then Hall Chevrolet eventually.
Right.
Then
You know,
5 Point Pharmacy. They got a nice little cafe in there. If you haven't been
Well,
there,
it's
by
very nice. If anybody hasn't been there, they need to go.
it is really good.
That is
It's
really good food.
parking is probably the toughest thing. You can park across the street on Inman over in the old Sandra
Yeah.
Hosiery parking lot.
Right, you could park there, and
but
then
you can park next to the building. But great prices. I thought. It's
I recall. I don't know if anybody's ever talked about it, but DC Renner had a wholesale company, and we described that more as Street Point.
mhm.
But my brother worked for them, but they were really. You remember that, Jerry?
I do remember that.
And then Sandra Hosiery Mill closed down after there for a while. He was still running while Thomas Hills.
Right.
I had first dozen worked there for years, but we had a shoe shop down there, Leonard Taylor. He was one that owned it, and he was also on the police force,
Mhm.
And, you could just do anything, get shoes fixed, everything done. You could do anything on Friday. And of course, I've always tried to get Nell Tipton. They work for Bonds, food store. That was one of the places you got your groceries.
Right.
All right, I remember that name now, yeah.
Yeah, they was a nice store.
But I noticed you didn't mention Beecher's place down there.
Yeah. That's a nice.
I thought you'd know about all the bars and
Yeah, I
pool
did.
rooms.
Boy, I got in there. I had a sister one time. We wanted one of them big hamburgers. They say it covered the saucer of like that. So we didn't know what we weren't supposed to be there. We just went in, sat down, and all these men started looking at us. We just tiny. Well, we got us a hamburger. And we eat that thing, got out of there. Because we realized we went to the wrong place.
Then, of course, there's a pool room right up in town. That,
Yeah.
What was that, Bob's pool room or
And Fred Hall.
Max? Fred Hall, yeah.
I love Fred Hall. You know, everybody had to go get their heater there. Somehow he had a good stove heaters, you know, that you put in there and burn your coal or wood or whatever, you know. But Fred Hall was a very big popular thing down in that area for many, many years. And I really like Five Point, you know. And now we always some people would only go to 5 Point. They didn't go uptown Cleveland. That's what they called it.
Right.
But now, that Cherokee Hotel was really a booming place. And even so, after Mildred, Mr. Pinion, after he passed on, Mildred still had it, but, and she's still very much alive at the Independent up there on the, what's the name of that, Garden Plaza, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, she's still just away up in her 90s and got as much mind as I have, you know.
Jerry, you said your mother is, it's 102 now?
She will be 102 in November. She's 101. And I was talking to Willie before we came in. I said, it's interesting. There's a lady that's in the room right next door to Mother named Velma Boyd that was traded at our store for years and years. And there they are. They have known each other half their lives, but now they don't know each other anymore, you know. And Helen Clark is up there, and she did Mother's hair for years, you know.
Yeah.
And she's at Bradley Nursing Home, too. There's one of Mother's neighbors is right down the hall from her. Sylvia Whitehead, was, part of Mother's life. It's interesting, how these people have been together so much and then they're apart,
All of them ended up at
Right.
the same place.
Well, they start me thinking about, I want you to start naming names. Not of things that, things that are embarrassing, just people who work downtown. No, I don't want any of her stories because we can't put those on air.
I've got a story I want to tell you, so you just...
Well, let's do, hey, folks, this is Old Town Cleveland. You're listening to live here on Whoop FM 99.9. You can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. The phones are open now. Got Willie Gregg and Jerry Brantley. I keep on, I'm going to call her Jerry Lee before the day's over. Jerry Brantley here. And we're talking about the bygone days of Cleveland, Tennessee. If you remember shopping downtown or had a...
Whoop FM is a non-profit community radio station that is made possible thanks to the generosity.
We didn't supposed to do that, so
Yeah.
never mind there. That was Daniel Brantley talking, by the way.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you're related to him or not, but he's interrupting our show here. So call us here at 614-5553. Who's some of the people that you worked with or that that you're talking about people you shopped with and knew all the time? I mean, just start throwing out names, and if you got stories on the statute of limitations is out, so you can tell all kinds of stories. But you had a story about somebody. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. There was the little lady that worked at the store. She did alterations, and she decorated the windows. And she was a little tiny, feisty little lady, probably as old as I am now, maybe a little bit older. I always thought she was ancient, but I was in my teens probably. But after I quit working at the store, I was working not right in town, and I had to come downtown one day to go to Merchants Bank. So I thought I'd stop in the store and see how things were going. So, I had a little bit of time there, so I went in, and there was Miss Willie. She was back there in the back, and she was waiting on a customer. she had a man there that he was getting ready to be in a play, and he was trying on ladies' apparel, dresses. And so, you know, I was laughing, and I was saying, I kept coming up to her and whispering, I'd say, boy, Miss Willie, this business sure has changed since I moved out. And she'd say, hush, Jerry, hush, shh, shh. And so anyway, I kept aggravating her about that every chance I got. And finally she turned around and looked at me and she said, well, I'll tell you what, one thing. She said, I was married for 60 years. I raised 6 boys. But this is the first time I ever helped a man fasten up his long line bra.
So he was in a play or a program.
Well, that was the story he told you, right?
That was the story. That was the story anyway.
Yeah, he may not have been in a play.
We don't know, but I laughed because if you could have seen that little lady turning around and looking at Jessie Wilhoit.
Oh, well, I remember Jessie. Yeah. He got on South Sequoia Street up on that little...
Yeah, and she would walk. A lot of times she would walk down there to work.
Yeah.
If the weather was bad, she might take a cab or something, or some of us would pick her up, but feisty. She's a little old white-headed lady that her favorite thing to do was read westerns. You know, she liked... Yeah, like books and things like that. But yeah, that was so funny because my dad and my uncle was in there too, and they was looking at that guy, you know, cutting their eyes at him, thinking, you know. But her answer to me was just priceless. I thought.
I'd say in those days, you know, we just didn't. Like that. We
didn't know anything about it.
No, we never had nothing like that, you know.
Well, it's a common occurrence now, I believe.
Well, I'm sure it happens a lot now, but, you know, that would have been late 70s.
Late 70s.
Yeah. And so that was pretty much unheard of, you know.
Yeah, that was just...
In this area anyway. The other thing that I thought was different, too, about uptown, too, was what happened when the assembly came to town.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
We thought that was just awesome, you know.
Was it good business?
Yeah, there was people, you couldn't, I mean, the ones of us that worked, we couldn't find a place to park. We couldn't find a place to eat. We couldn't find...
No, you couldn't go out to eat at all.
And there was people coming in by the droves as long as it was...
Yeah, we just... And my aunt always... she lived on Parker Street, and I know she kept those people, and she's a real clean lady, but, boy, I mean, she stayed full all the time. She'd have a big old house, and she'd have these assembly people renting those house, you know, rooms out.
Mm-hmm.
And she always made good money, you know. I think it's, I remember $10 something a day. And of course, we didn't have that many hotels in those days, you know. So that was basically how people did it. They
made some extra money.
Yeah,
made extra money.
It helped all the people of Cleveland, you know. And of course, we had Kate Bledsoe's. I mean, I didn't have to worry too much about the women, but the men flocked in that store to get those suits. And Lord, it was really fun days. But I thought it was more fun at night. We'd go over there and, you know, walk up down that thing, and Daddy'd say, you better go in that church, girl. I would. I'd go in there the window and come out that.
It was just a carnival, I understand. You know,
yeah.
I know Mr. Dooley's ran, he put a snow cone machine out front and made a lot of money. Then the people, they were in little booths at old MC Hedrick's.
Yeah, you'd see it
and
right in there.
And people would sell sandwiches and things out there, and he'd rent those booths off for a lot of money. And then, yeah, I'm sure Dooley's Ice Cream probably made a fortune. That was a perfect place for it. It made enough money when the assembly wasn't here.
Just a regular season, but boy, when that assembly come, they made some money. You know, and of course, some people would say they upped the prices. That's how they would talk back then, but I don't think so. I never found that to be true, but they said, oh, here they come. They're running them prices up, but we didn't. At Bledsoe's, you know, we had good sales.
I remember basically you didn't go out and eat during that time, or you went out of town.
Yeah,
you had to go to Chattanooga or something.
Yeah,
Right.
you just didn't really do all that. But do you remember what was really, really important was that Cherokee Hotel?
Yeah.
And when they started filming Wild River,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was thought about that last night.
we thought that's big, just awesome. My mom worked there at Cherokee Hotel.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she did. She had to get her a job after Dad had fallen prey to what he had, his paralyzation. And so, of course, I had to help. They'd let me in there. Oh, man, they had the best chef you ever heard of, and all I ever remembered was Floyd and Cy. They were the two main chefs. But my mom did the dishes. Well, I had to help, and well, it was just a big thing for Wild River to come in. We got to meet those guys.
There's a guy named Michael Lawson here in town, and his mother worked at Cherokee Hotel, and I can't think of her name, but she worked around the kitchen, and he'd come in there at night, and he ate supper almost every night growing up
Yeah.
at the Cherokee, and he thought that at home that everybody had plates that had CH on them. And his sheet said CH on them, and he said he didn't know what that meant at that time, but
I remember a lot about that place, a lot of history there.
oh yeah.
But I'd get to help. I'd get to go to the Christmas parties.
Hmm.
So we had the big Indian room up there. And it was awesome, just going there at Christmas time. They'd have us all decorated up. And I got a box of candy every year. And I can only remember one lady's name, and her name was Miss Bell. And she was a dead woman over the hotel. She had a son, and there was another lady there, and I can't ever remember her name. But Mistress Beller was the number one lady, and then she had a son, and so it was quite interesting back in those times, It's kind of sad now to go down there. Most of it's all,
Yeah, it's totally different. At one time it was had a banquets in there.
Yeah.
I know I've seen some pictures of Bradley High School wedding receptions. They had a barber shop in there at one time. They had a record shop in there too.
they sure did.
I can't
Yes.
think of those guys' name. And then WCLE started in the Cherokee Hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where it moved down to. Moved over up above the spot, I guess, where it moved first.
Yeah, it was right
Yeah.
in between that Merchants Bank, right in there.
Yeah.
And of course, we had jewelers, Woods Jewelers, and there was a jewelry shop right across the street at one time. But I remember it didn't stay a long time, right in there around WCLE. I could not
Oh,
remember.
I don't know. You got me.
They just come and go, some
Yeah.
of those jewelry shops, they would, but now Woods Jewelers, I don't know when they come out, but I can, I know I don't know when they arrived in Cleveland, but we had the Bird Cage uptown. Man, that was something. Betty Rubin on that.
Hmm.
And then, of course, Stampers on the corner, that was your gift place. You had to, you could get every girl senior got to go in and pick out her china, and they'd give her a cup and saucer and put it there, because most likely you was going to get married right after high school.
That was Start Your Hope Chest.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was a good plan, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was they had the business down. I'm telling you, that was really something.
When it was the bakery down there.
Yeah, townhouse was on Broad there. It was
Yeah.
over. And then, that restaurant there, right by it, everybody liked to go there. They had that, it was right, I was trying to think.
Was it not the townhouse also?
May have been.
I think it was.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
They're
I was
right next.
thinking that-
They're right next door to each other. weren't
Yeah,
they?
I was
right.
thinking that they were, yeah.
It probably so, yeah.
I just love to go get a bag of donuts, so, and eat as
Oh,
many
we
of them
just
as I
could-
could before I got back to the store.
We
Before I
just
had
couldn't wait
clear.
to get those donut holes, is what we called them, and they were fairly cheap,
I
back
could eat a
then.
lot of donuts time I got anywhere. Is my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Me
Because that
too.
was really,
Now up there, everyone will remember Bob's Gulf. It was probably
Yes. Open
that-
24 hours a day.
Yeah, there wasn't as many downtown gas stations right there, but that was the one in downtown. But you went on down towards 5.8.
Central Drugstore.
Yeah, and then on down towards on Broad towards the end of it, there's some gas stations past Cook's
Yeah.
down there.
Right.
But Bob's is right up there in downtown.
Right.
Yeah, downtown. That was what was so funny. We had a little shop right there at, I guess, still at 5 Point, but it was Randolph's Clothing. It was right on that corner. It was a big shop, too. You know, they had numerous type things to sell, but that's a good shop to shop at, you know.
And had,
Randolph's Clothes.
and had the cab stand down there.
Yes, that was there. We had our cab stand, and they was just, you know, just a roaring little town.
Now I understand the cab stand had a couple cabs that never moved.
They didn't have to.
I thought maybe they were selling something out of the trunk is what I had been told.
I never could understand that. You
Yeah,
know,
never
for the
was.
We was too young to know that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
but you sort of, I was too, but I sort of heard that.
Yeah, it was really something, because they just sit there all the time. I never did understand.
Somebody give me a picture of Snorts. They said, this is Snorts out there on 64 out there off
Yeah.
64. And I said, well, I didn't recognize him because I only knew this much of him from his elbow out where he took his hand out the window.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I'm not sure. But I said, I'd never seen his face. I'd seen his arm a
So,
couple
yeah,
of
that's
times.
all you ever
Just
saw
a
was
couple of
arm.
times, yeah.
Yeah, just hand that out.
He was giving donations, and what it was, we
Yeah.
were raising money.
That was
Or he
really,
was raising money, I should say.
but that's good, I tell you. It wasn't anything to get, go up, walking up the streets, or we never worried about nighttime,
Was there a bowling alley down towards 5 Point somewhere?
Yeah.
Jaffe's, Jollies, or Jockeys, or
No, I know there was a skating rink down there,
might be a
too.
skating rink
Yeah,
I'm
I
thinking
think that
about.
was,
Yeah.
we had a
Yeah.
skating rink there, and then, they was,
When did was PNS Hospital around when you?
yeah, now
I don't remember it.
right in there where it was at.
Where the museum's at.
Yeah, and that was just something, PNH Hospital. And,
Physicians and surgeons is what
yes,
that
that's
stood
what
for.
it was,
Yeah.
physicians and surgeons.
Now, I can't remember who
But I
started there.
reckon now, the Specs, hospital, Dr. Speck, I think that might have been the, better one, or whatever you
Yeah,
might
well,
say.
it was more modern at the
Yeah,
time. And of course, in 59, 60, we opened up
Yeah,
Bradley Memorial,
Right.
which usually was the death knell for those things. Do you think when the village opened up in, 60, 61, what it did to,
It
Did it destroy
changed.
downtown
It changed
Cleveland?
things. It did.
was it immediate or was it a slow
well, I don't
slow
think
death?
it really hit quite so hard, when it opened up. It was scary for the downtown merchants,
Mm-hmm.
but they never wanted to be associated with, because they didn't want to go in at Christmas time and do the parade starting at the village.
Yeah.
We had discussion about that.
Right.
But it was, I'd say at first, it could have hurt some of the, because it went in and
That grand opening was huge, Of course,
It
had
was big.
had Bob Brandy there. I mean, goodness gracious, he was a rock star, was he not?
yeah, I'm telling you, we had that biggest cakes you'd ever see. They'd celebrate with them every, when they opened. But it was something for us. We thought we were in New York City. I thought, oh man.
But now,
And but later on, we still had good business. We had Thomas Hills and things like that. But I'm sure there's always a little bit that can offset that.
folks, you're listening to Old Town Cleveland here on Whoop FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. The car show's going on today, and if you're interested in Trail of Tears or history or learning more about it, you can drive up to Telco Plains High School at doors open at 1, program starts at 2. Dr. Quentin Bass will be there talking about Fort Armistead, which is in Coker Creek.
Yeah.
It was, and there are parts of the foundation still left. You can't get there, see it. The U.S. Forest Service will not let you onto the property, but he's going to explain a little bit about the property. You may remember a couple of years ago they took a bulldozer and bulldozed some of the road up through there, and they, of course, got a little trouble with the Trail of Tear Association, and they paid some reparations and things of that nature. So they're there trying to tell us what's going on and how they're saving that property up there. So if you're interested in those type of things, and once again, Ryan McElhaney was in a car wreck yesterday. He's okay. Got a bad ankle now. which I'm sure he doesn't think he's great right this moment, but having some surgery there. Kyle's here at 614-5553. We've got Willie Gregg here and Jerry Brantley, and they're talking about the bygone days of old downtown Cleveland. Call us in and tell us where you like to shop. Or if you got any stories on either one of these ladies, go ahead and call and tell them, you know.
We'll
And,
try our best to
you know,
answer.
Jerry, you just don't look like you've ever been in trouble.
Oh, my goodness. I'm always in trouble.
Oh, but I know Willie's always been in
Hey, I
trouble.
wasn't in any trouble, I tell you. I guess thought my name was Trouble,
She-
so it followed me.
Willie's just so quiet. What it is.
Yeah.
Kind of quiet, wasn't it?
So give us a call here at 614-5553. There's somebody calling us now. Good morning, you're live on Old Town Cleveland.
This T-Bandy.
Hey, T-Bandy, how are you?
I'm sitting here in this recliner.
Sitting in the recliner, hey?
Yeah, I broke my pelvis, so I'll get over it, so.
Yep.
So I got a fish truck coming next Saturday, July the 1st, at 11 o'clock down there at South Station Co-op.
So if you need to order fish for your ponds or lakes, what number do they call?
478-2405.
2405. So if you need some fish for your pond or for your lake, these ain't grilling fish yet. You got to grill them yourself. You know, they got to get a little bigger.
Yeah, they got
A carp for selling right now.
Yeah, that grass-eating carp.
Yeah, grass-eating carp for selling a lot of them.
Yeah, well, they got to get that milfoil out of that, don't they?
Well, you have a nice. Well, what about Robbie Steele? Did you heard about him? Didn't you?
Yeah, Mr. Steele passed away this. I think it was Thursday night. I believe it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of my buddies.
Robbie's a great guy.
Yeah, he was. We used to haul feed from the co-op down there.
Yep.
Okay. We'll talk to you later on.
All right, thank you now.
Bye.
The Arkansas Pond Stalkers. That's the name of the company. I'm going, you know what, that'd be a good name for a bluegrass
Well, it would be, wouldn't it?
Arkansas Pond Stalkers. Bluegrass
That'd
at
be
its
good.
finest. So somebody will steal that name there. So, who else worked downtown? I mean, did you remember? Now, at Central Drug, there's a little, there's no phone call coming here. Hey, good morning, live in Old Town Cleveland.
How you doing, Ron?
Doing great.
Hey, this is Jamie Gregg.
Hey, gosh, Jamie, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. I was just listening this morning, and one place that I wanted to mention, and maybe y'all did, of course, this was, I don't know when they came in or how long they were around, but, well, not how long they were around, but when they actually came in was Diamond Wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had some fun days there.
Yeah, I just want to mention that it's a place that I, kind of, when I grew up downtown, basically, because Mom working there, and just one of those places that I wanted to point out. It was a great place to eat, and a lot of people, went there. It's packed all the time, and breakfast, lunch, and everything. So
It's good food, and Lily Lawson, was that her name?
Yeah, Phil Lawson, that's her name. Oh, we loved her. And, I mean, it was just it. I don't know how many years I ate there. And
Jamie, I remember going there because she had a bunch of good-looking waitresses.
Some of them were their daughters, I think.
Well, I know they were their daughters, too, but they still good-looking. I mean,
somehow,
Sandra and
Yeah,
I
I
graduated
know.
high school.
yeah, that was fun. But Jamie was always known, he'll hit me after this is over, but he was our little preacher. He came downtown with his aunt, and, he was with her all the time. They get a cab to come to town. Well, Jamie was known, he'd go get her hair fixed. Well, everybody loved Jamie. And they didn't know who he belonged to. Nobody knew. But they just knew that his Aunt Georgia took him to town. Twice, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And he'd get up on those counters to preach for him, and then they'd take off. So Jamie was always in the downtown area and loved clothes. He'd come in there and try to sell me things, Bledsoe's, And but Jamie always loved downtown Cleveland. And I got called out with Jamie one day, and somebody said, who is that child you've got? That's just my son. They said, well, I didn't even have an idea he belonged to you. And I said, well, he does. I said, his aunt, that's the only person that would ever see Jamie with his Aunt Georgia. And but he'd go around town, and everybody called him the little preacher guy. He could preach for about 5 minutes, and he'd be finished.
I wish there was more preachers like that.
Right. Start a trend.
Yeah, and I had.
Hey,
started drinking.
Jamie, where else did you eat in downtown?
Of course, the Spot. I mean, when I would come in, like I would walk down there from school. When I went to Bradley Junior, I walked downtown where Mom was at, and she'd give me a little money, and I'd run down to the Spot and have one of those Spot burgers. So good stuff. Those were probably the two places I remember eating at, I guess, as I was growing up. So
Now, I guess I know you're a lot younger than us, but the drugstores had about stopped having their counters and serving at times, so it was.
You know, I think I remember when she was talking about my aunt who used to take me downtown. I mean, I think she used to take me somewhere down there, and I remember going somewhere where they had counters like that. So.
Woolworths or Rexall Drugs would be one of the places.
And then, you know, Cole's Drugstore.
Cole's Drugstore.
They had good food, too. You know.
All those drugstore counters were good.
Well, they were. I mean, you know, it was sad when they, started taking them out.
Cooper's and get baseball cards, what do you?
Oh, man, Cooper's Friday. But, yeah, that one.
You know, Jamie, when, even before me, but Cooper's, you didn't get school books when you went to school. You know, they handed out a book. You had to go and buy your own school books, and they sold them at Cooper's bookstore.
Wow.
You had to buy your own books, and I think in sometime mid-50s, Buford Ellington was governor, and he passed a bill that they'd start providing books. But you just had to buy your own books. And so,
you had to buy them, right there.
Cooper's, I remember buying my Black Diamond guitar strings there for my guitars. And, of course, today that is the worst guitar string you ever played in your life. It'd cut your hands in half, but if you could play on a Black Diamond strings, you could play anything.
You could play anything. That's a good,
Good talking to you, Jamie.
Yes, sir. You take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
That's Willie's son, if you didn't know who it was. A great guy.
I never dreamed he'd have done that. What about that? I thought, well,
good to hear from Jamie. That's good. Don't forget you can call here at 614-5553 and tell us what you remember about downtown. Don't forget about the car show starting here shortly down in downtown Cleveland. And if you haven't tried lunch down at the 5 Point Pharmacy, it's called the 5 Point Cafe now.
Yes.
Great sandwiches and sandwich. I had the other day they had a combo. It was a hamburger and a side for like $8.99. That includes the drink. That's a pretty good price for that. So the side, I said, well, I could get beans and cornbread, and I thought I'd get a little cup. Well, it was a bowl of beans and a cornbread muffin and chow chow, and then this huge hamburger.
Yes.
And I was full after I ate the beans and cornbread. I can't eat like I used to, And so I ate it all, but I was in misery after it. But great hamburgers. I had the pecan chicken salad on a croissant yesterday, a little bit more healthier than the hamburger.
Yeah.
And then I ordered the combo, and my wife ate the beans and cornbread, and I ate the little chicken croissant, and it was perfect for not light lunch, but they have Reuben, and then after you eat real nice, they got ice cream, and they got all kinds of desserts, a nice little dessert. I sit with my back facing it.
Turn around.
Oh, yeah, if I turn around, when you go up there, pay, you walk up there, and great marketing, but great little food to try that, and
I think so. We had, I've been there several times, my friend Ann Officer and I, we scout these places out, and so that was always a good place to go. And it used to be Rebecca's, but that's who owns it. And they changed the name, but I really think, when they bring this road through there, that they could reopen something down, all the way down Inman Street, because I understand that how that new road opening supposed to take you down, is that?
Don't know yet.
I don't know. It's supposed to come off the ones interstate,
July 9th, I want to mention this, July 9th, at the community room at the Cleveland Bradley Library, we're going to have a professor from Lee will be there to talk about the tunnels under Cleveland. They have now, they sent people into the tunnels, and they've done archaeological, they've done all kinds of studies on it, and they're going to tell you exactly what those tunnels are. And there are so many stories going around about what those are. And you're going to be surprised when you get there. So your stories may not be true, folks.
That's true.
I hate to tell you, some of them will be fake. But It's still extremely interesting story. This will be the first time they'll be making a public presentation, and we're expecting a huge crowd. It'll be between the room 2:30. I'd get there by 2 at least, get you a good seat up front.
I'd like to go to that.
That'll be July 9th at the Cleveland Public Library in the community room. We were going to have it in the history branch, and we have realized we probably will not have enough seats over there. So just in the last day or two, we have changed our mind about moving over there. And then you can also join the History Society, Bradley County Genealogical and History Society. I think it's $10 a person a year or something like that. You get some newsletters, and but you don't have to be a member to come. This is free and open to the public. Please make sure you come down to that. And we've got another call here. Hey, good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Heard you talking about Bradley Memorial Hospital.
Yeah.
Bradley Memorial Hospital opened in 1952, and Alan Jones was the first baby born there, December the 31st, 1952. And that's even on his bio, you know. He's proud of being born at Bradley Memorial Hospital.
You are correct. I know Alan was the first one.
Yeah, he was, because everybody knows
and I was thinking it was really 50, because Alan and I are the same age. He's older than me. He's older too. But that was 52, 53. You're right there. That's when it opened. So I will stand corrected, and my brain wasn't working, which is not unusual anymore.
Oh, you got a good brain. You remember a whole lot. I'm glad that you mentioned P&S Hospital, because you talk about history, and you support history, and the situation is that sometimes people don't know things. And I read one place that the Speck Hospital was the first hospital in Cleveland, and I'm glad that you mentioned that P&S was down there.
Yes, P&S. Well, first, and as far as I know, that is the first hospital. During the Civil War, there were houses changed into hospitals and things around here. But at the formal hospital, I think P&S and Nazi would have you down to Chattanooga probably for the hospital. But I finally found a picture of it. I don't have a great picture of P&S. Somewhere in somebody's box of pictures, there's so much history laying in people's drawers and up under the bed and in the closet. They need to get those out and share them, because we ain't going to have any history. Our cell phones, we don't print pictures anymore.
No.
They're going to be gone.
That's right. Well, I'm glad that people, when they write history, really know what's correct and not the correct things,
Right. Well, I think this is about the tunnels I just mentioned, that there's so many theories out there, and I've read some of their theories, and I'm not going to spoil it, but you'll be surprised what the tunnels were for in the city of Cleveland, and there's a massive amount of tunnels in the city of Cleveland. And so, but people need to come see that, because my mind's just blank here. The doctor's name over at, he'll shoot me now, over at Lee, he's an anthropologist. And like I say, they went in there, actually went through the tunnels, and there are places to get into the tunnels, but you need some air quality checking when you go in there. Just don't go in there and walk, and there may be gases formed or something in there. You don't know what all's in there, so don't try to go into tunnels unless you're trained to go into tunnels.
Yeah.
Oh, something else is different, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
When I was in it was grammar school at the time, and I wasn't in this teacher's grade, but she was a librarian, and she was teaching the students, don't say library, it's library, And I hear them on the news and all over, it's library, It's library. That's the only thing I know in grammar.
You know what? I'm guilty of that, and also I wash things. There's an R in my wash.
That's the easiest thing in the world to say.
Wash and wash.
Yeah.
A lot of things I can't pronounce. But
Now, did you grow up here in Cleveland?
No, I was born in Knoxville, and I lived there till I was about 10 or so, and my dad moved me to Clinton. I was there about 6 or 7 years. Excuse me, my throat. But I've been in Cleveland since 1956, 57.
Well, you're a citizen now.
Yeah, I bet that would claim me now.
So, now, what did you eat downtown any, or what do you remember about eating downtown?
Yeah, I ate at the Spot, and I ate at the Bears Den.
Oh yeah, the Bears Den.
And down going down Inman Street toward the underpass, there was a bar that was open all night. Now,
Beaches.
Beaches.
what's the name of it?
Beaches.
And I used to go in there after work and eat. And I remember Burger Music Store used to be downtown.
Randy Burger. Richard Burger.
Yeah,
Richard was the father, and Randy. I bought a bass guitar from him in 1968 that I still own today.
God, good.
It worth quite a few dollars for me.
I used to strip a piano to Richard Burger anyway to make a little extra money.
Yeah.
There was Kent's Photo down there. And I remember all that. Cherokee Hotel, and I was surprised that they said that Mrs. Pinion was still alive.
Yes, she sure is.
Is she in business somewhere?
No, she's actually up at Garden Plaza, and she's in the independent living.
Well, that is wonderful, isn't it? That's amazing.
She looks the same as she always did.
Wasn't that one of the places you could get your ears pierced with down at Pinion?
Yes, she did mine. Ooh, that was back in 19... I had mine done, I think, about 1962. And you just had to buy your pair of earrings and blah, blah, blah.
Do you remember when the Cleveland Hotel burned?
Yes, I do.
I remember when Kyle's burned. I remember when the school up in Charleston burned. You know, we had some big fires there. Now, since I hadn't told you who I am, and I won't tell you, but let me tell you this, I'll tell you something on myself.
All right.
I was raised not to go to the movies, you know, as a Pentecostal preacher's son, right? So I came to Cleveland, and they arrested the manager of the Princess Hotel for showing this movie.
What was it?
Bridget Corday or something.
Yeah.
And so that's the first movie I ever went to.
So you went into that movie, hey? All right.
So Lord forgive me, you know. Of course, that's nothing compared to what they're showing today.
Oh, that's just on the commercials now.
Yeah, I mean...
Wasn't that terrible? Yeah, and I remember that Methodist church down there by the Princess, you know.
Broad Street Methodist? Not Broad Street. Yeah, it was Broad Street. It was Broad Street Methodist.
No, I'm talking about the one down Rose Princess there.
Oh, you're talking about that.
First Methodist.
Yeah.
First Methodist. You're right.
Broad Street on the other.
Yeah, it's on the other side. You're right.
Yeah, I went to Bill Dooley's funeral there. And oh, yeah, I remember Bedooley's ice cream. That was great. And I went over there to the Church of God of Prophecy, too, you know, when they had that assembly.
Yeah.
That was something else. Well, I've talked too much here this morning.
You call anytime. We love hearing from you.
Hey, bless you. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Tell Debbie we missed her, okay?
Well, she's out doing something else today, so she put me to work.
Bless you now. Enjoy the broadcast.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey, Tom, it's time for our mid-morning break right now, and want to mention 2 or 3 people. Every week at this time, after our few little sponsors, we play a song called Gone Home. It's an old gospel song written by Bill Carlisle. Bill Carlisle used to run around with Bill Monroe. And we play this song for all the people that passed away in our community. And there's 3 people I wanted to mention that I know of. Libby Golden. She was the Bradley County historian. She's been officially the historian of Bradley County for many, many years. And Libby passed away this week, in her 90s. Robbie Steele, from out in the Bates Pike area out there. The Steele family is a very old family here, and his father's 97, Robert Steele. And Robbie passed away, and then a friend of mine, Donald Samples, about a year ahead of me in high school, killed in a car wreck over in Middle Tennessee, I believe it was. So we'll play that song for them, and we'll be back here in a few minutes on Old Town Cleveland. So you're back. Don't go away.
Hello.
on the Dope Time.
And you're listening to WOOPLP, Cleveland, Tennessee. Whoop FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Another SOS, and you're stressing, and that's the time to check in. Check in to cash, check in. When you have a cash emergency, check in. We understand the urgency. Check in to get your loans and more. You gotta check in with your checking to cash. Walk in, call in, click in, go all in. Check in to cash in, check in to cash. Your one-stop money shop. Check into cash.
Yeah, you looking for something sweet? I know you are. Bring those little sweets out to the Village Bake Shop. Around since 1961, there ain't a baked good in the galaxy the Village Bake Shop can't whip up for you. So when you're ready to treat your mouth to a taste you won't soon forget, get over to the Village Bake Shop in the Village Green Town Center, or give them a call at 476-5179. You dig?
No dealers allowed.
Jackson Catnapper, family owned and operated in Cleveland since 1933, offering the best with over 70 styles of recliners, sofas, electronic lift chairs, full living room packages. Call Mike now at 961-7239 because Jackson Catnapper now offers sales to the public
every Saturday. That's right, every Saturday.
From 8 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. Or call Mike at 961-7239. Or go see him
every Saturday
at 1911 King Edward Avenue, just across from the main plant. Jackson Catnapper, family owned and operated in Cleveland since 1933. 961-7239.
No dealers allowed.
Welcome back to Old Town Cleveland here on Whoop FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553, 614-5553. If you're living outside the area, just add the area code of 423 here. We've got Jerry Colonel Gregg here and Jerry Bale Brantley.
Yes.
I didn't call you Jerry Lee that time, did I?
No.
Jerry Bale Brantley here, and they're talking about the bygone days of downtown Cleveland. You may have remembered things like the original spot and the teddy bears and the coffee cup. And Town and Country Restaurant and Grabbers. I always call it Grabbers or Grabers? Grabbers. Of course, Stampers has been there for years. And they used to have hardware store at one time.
Yeah, they did.
And of course, Able Hardware on the other side. And Claude Clymer had a watch repair.
He sure did. I'd forgotten about that.
Right inside the front door, and I think that's how he met so many people and got elected and stayed in office for 37, 38 years.
Yes.
Not a few days over. I think he actually got elected and they moved into the new courthouse. Right at 62 maybe.
Yeah, he still worked there.
Oh, yeah. You know, Claude's a great guy. Him and Mr. Abel came in recently and talked about those things. And then right on down the street down there was Ganaway's.
Yes, Ganaway.
Now, Ganaway's was a hardware store, and if you were a young boy, you go in there and you could smell that leather.
Oh, it was.
And they were making saddles, and I always wanted a Ganaway saddle. I didn't have a horse. But I figured if I got a saddle, that the horse would follow it. You know, so.
Good thinking, Ron.
Well, that didn't work. I didn't get either one. But then I got my very first bicycle at Able Hardware.
Wow.
I bought it myself. Well, my dad actually paid for it, and then I had to mow the yard every day. We actually had it on credit, so I would learn to go pay my $5. So I think it was about 7 weeks. $5 a week for a $45 bicycle. It was a Pee Wee Herman bicycle. It had bells and lights and buzzers, and it had it all fenders.
It was really made
you know, and a book rack, you know, and I was a nerd and a half, but I tell you, so...
I bet you traded that off, didn't you, Ron?
I eventually started taking some of that stuff off and maybe stripped it down and made it a little cooler and put a smaller grill on front, you know. And,
that's a neat idea.
Yeah, you know, I've done that over at Stacy Cry's Phillips 66 station on the Spring Place Road, went over there, and that's where I used his tools and altered things. And of course, that's where I learned where all the drag races in town were going to be held that night on what roads. And of course, I wasn't old enough to drive, but downtown was a great place. You know, downtowns have died a lot as for retail business, at least.
Yeah.
There tend to be more lawyer offices now, and some restaurants in your downtown to support the people going to the courthouse, Bailey, and banks. You know, so, you know, the shopping centers, they had Amigo days.
Yes,
1959, and the Cisco Kid and his horse Diablo came to Cleveland. And I'm going, why would the Cisco Kid? But later on I found out that was a promotion to promote downtown because they were afraid of the Village Shopping Center opening to go take business. So they had a big parade, and the Cisco Kid nearly knocked himself out at Inman and Ocoee. The float was higher than he thought, and the traffic light hit him in the back of the head and died.
That was a good one, Ron. I'd forgotten about that, but I remember it now.
Nico days. I've still got my autographed picture of Cisco Kid.
Wow.
So,
that should be nice.
And of course, you know, the Village answered with Bob Brandy.
Yes.
And around here, Bob Brandy was a superstar. I mean, he was
telling you.
You know, every Monday through Friday, every afternoon on Channel 9, Bob Brandy was on there with his wife Ingrid and his horse Rebel, and they had Ron Benedict on drums when he played in his band, and so it was great. And Bob Brandy's grandson lives here in Cleveland, Mark Brandenburg.
Yes.
Brandy is his stage name. His last name was Brandenburg. Come from Columbus, Georgia.
Well, that is
And,
really interesting.
And I know I hadn't seen Bob Brandy in years, wouldn't know him, but I was sitting at a Red Cross banquet with Mayor Rowland, and the guy sat down across from me, and Mayor Rowland says, "You know this gentleman here?" And I said, "I don't believe so. How? I'm Ron Moore." He said, "I'm Bob Brandy."
Really?
Well, I never seen Bob Brandy without a hat, and he was older then, of course. But
Did he give silver dollars, or what was that?
oh yeah, well, Colonial Buns was the thing I lost. Dennis Botts and I were in the Cub Scouts out at Oak Grove, and we were on the program, and we were playing musical chairs, and it got down to Dennis and I.
Uh-huh.
And we both went around there, but we were both big boys, you know, and I hit in the seat first, and Dennis knocked me out. I think it was a technical there. And I should have got the hot dog buns, but Dennis went home with the dog. Now, I've been scarred ever since, you know. So anytime I go someplace, I have to buy a hot dog anyway.
Yeah,
so
that was a
I
good
eat more
one.
hot dogs.
That was hot dogs.
Hot dogs and a little surrey, and you had to throw ping pong balls, and you got to sit on Rebel and all things. Then they had
Was that Colonial Bread?
Colonial Bread was one of their sponsors, yes, for a long, long time.
They would just go. It just wasn't right if you didn't have Colonial Bread.
Yeah, well,
so it went on out, I guess. You know, went on out of business.
You know, that was Colonial Bread. Of course, you know, growing up here, we all had to have Mayfield's milk. That was the predominant. Of course, Siltets was here, and Happy Valley.
Happy Valley, they
Now,
delivered right
Siltets-
to your door.
In the schools, it was all Siltets when I was going to school there.
Yeah.
And then it changed to Mayfield, and of course, Mayfield had the ice cream mark for a long, long time. But you know, Dooley's was a cream.
You could go and buy those big old carton, you know.
Oh yeah,
of ice cream.
They
you know,
bought the
right in
milk and made it, and made the ice cream there. And of course, the most famous flavor at Dooley's was the grape ice cream.
Yep. Great, I remember that. As long people could make it.
It's the only place in the country was making grape ice cream. Even I had a friend come in here, who ran Scoops and Burgers for a while. He said, "Grape ice cream? Never heard of such thing." I said, "Here, I've got the recipe. If you make grape ice cream, you'll sell it out." So he said, "Okay." He made 3 gallons, and I announced it on Saturday morning. I was going to go up there and get some. Time he opened at 12 and 10,
He sold out.
He had sold out. So he made 15 gallons, sold it out the next week, and people coming from Chattanooga getting quarts of it, and Chattanooga Times running a story on it. He goes, "I've hit on something big here." So
Yeah, that really was. You just never. The closest, I guess, Ben and Jerry's, they might have some grape. I don't know.
my friend John Cook lived over on the east side, and would walk down over there and get, when they could afford a nickel, and get that nickel cone. He said, but I said, "Did you ever try the grape?" He says, "Nope." He said, "It's so hard to come by a nickel." He says, "I knew I liked vanilla. I wasn't going to waste my nickel on anything besides vanilla." He wasn't going to get a flavor he didn't like.
Well, you couldn't mess up on vanilla, so it was hard decision, you know, make those. You didn't know what you wanted them to do ice cream thing.
Who's some of the other people that work downtown? You know anybody that worked at Woolworths or Draper, Darwin's, or any names?
There was a Belcher lady that worked downtown.
Juanita Cooper worked
That's
at
it.
Woolworths. She was a Belcher. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
But,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she's still, she's in her 80s.
Yeah, she's still.
She's about 88 or
Doesn't look
something, but
any
she's still
different.
going. I see her every now and then. I worked with her at Face Wofford's plant. Yeah. And Juanita worked out there. And she just amazes all of us, because every time we have a get-together or something, she shows up in her little truck.
Yeah, you know, they had a bunch of people that worked at Woolworths, and they usually have a little reunion. The girls that worked there, Frances Hamilton, you know, the Hamilton family has all those. She used to go to them all the time. So she's a Pierce now, but she was a lot of the Billy Hamilton's sister and all, you know. But they'd have a little reunion and get together, and they pulled in a lot of people.
I was going to say, Jean Millway worked up there at Penny's, didn't she?
Penny's, yes, she sure did.
She worked at Penny's, and there's a lady that I run into every now and then that worked down there at Woolworths, and I can't think of it. I think she was an Osborne.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? The little short, blonde-headed lady.
I remember that name.
Yeah.
I sure do.
And I run into her every now and then. But
We got a call here. Hey, good morning. You're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning, Ron. This is Brenda.
Well, Brenda, I started to say if you're going to call in that, tell us about your mama worked there at that Central Drug for how many years?
72 years.
She sure did.
She may have knew a few people downtown.
Mother used to, there was a back door to Central Drug Store, and it went out in the alley in the back. And whenever it'd be time for me to go to school, she'd have me come downtown and meet her at Central. And she'd go buy my school clothes. We'd go out the back door and go down the alley and around to Hardwick's clothing store. And that's where she'd buy my school clothes. And then if you went out the back door and went the other way down the alley and crossed the street, that's where we got our shoes fixed. There was a man that worked on everybody's shoes, and he was there for years and years and
Was
years.
it Kurt Patrick's?
No, his last name was White.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. It was a little shoe shop. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a shoe shop.
Yeah. He was in the alley there.
He said cut right back in the alley on the other side of the drugstore.
Yes.
And he was really good on shoes. We didn't never throw away a pair of shoes. We always go get them fixed because he was so good at fixing your shoes.
He was good. He could worked on a lot of shoes. That man had the business. He sure did.
He sure did. I sure was glad to hear Jamie call in a while ago. It's good to hear his voice.
That really shocked me, Brenda. I didn't think Jamie Gregg would call in, but he sure did.
He sure did, and he sounds the same as he always has.
He does, and he used to work for Ron Moore. And,
did he?
Yeah, he liked Ron.
We worked together.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, but I tell you, I sure have missed him.
He's still around. He's in insurance now, so he works in Chattanooga, but he's still around.
He'd sell you some here in Cleveland, though, if you wanted to buy it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd sell you anywhere.
Yeah. Say anywhere.
Well, there, and I was going to talk about the soda fountain in Central. When I was a kid, George Melton ran the soda fountain, and they had good hot meals.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they were good.
They sure were. They were good. That was good food.
It was real good food, and of course they had sodas, and they had just all kind of things on the fountain. But Mother would take me to work with her sometimes on Saturdays, and I just loved to go because she'd let me sit over there on the fountain all day, and she'd take me some books. And those waitresses at the fountain would bring me anything I wanted.
Oh, man.
And she'd tell them, she'd say, now this is the last thing. She said, now she can't have nothing else to eat. She said she's had all the junk that she needs to have. But to go over on the other side, and I'd tell them I wanted a soda, and they'd give me one. So, buddy, I just had a ball sitting over there. I'd eat desserts, and I'd drink soda.
You had it made, girl, back in that time, didn't you?
I was the skinniest little thing ever was. I looked like a stick back then when I was a kid, but when I go to the drugstore, boy, I'd get my belly full. But I tell you, I had a wonderful childhood, and I was at the drugstore just all the time, and being around that drugstore, and everybody in the world would come into the soda fountain, of course, and it was just a happy time to me being downtown. I really do miss it. I loved being on the streets and walking up and down the streets. You didn't have to worry about your children. Mother would send me down to Harshbarger's to try on bathing suits in the summertime, and then they knew who I was, and they'd let me bring the bathing suit up and show it to Mother, and then she'd give me the money, and I'd come back and pay for it.
That's something, isn't it? We don't have any of that
No, none of that anymore. Did you,
No more do we have anything like that.
Jamie, did you know that Brenda played a floozy in a movie?
No, I didn't know that.
I was completely wrong. I played as it was in a bar. We was dancing, but I played a
floozy
in a bar.
Floozy.
But I wasn't no floozy.
Yes, I didn't know that. That's new to me.
So they're
now.
going to put you in the movie because you can play the part so well?
I did have to go and I did have to go down there and try out and all that kind of stuff. I went on one of the calls, and I forget what they call them now because I'm starting to forget a lot of things, and so I can't remember a lot of what things are called. But anyway, the name of the movie was The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia.
Yes, I sure remember that.
Dennis Quaid was the star, and I finally went and saw the movie, and they had cut out so much of the movie, all I saw was my cowboy hat in it. That was back when everybody dressed in cowboy clothes, cowboy hats and boots, and I spotted my cowboy hat, and that's about all I saw myself. But anyway, I did want to call and mention the drugstore, and of course the drugstore on Keith Street, the Central on Keith Street, they have a fountain too.
I love to go down there. It's still that's where your mom works. But they still make that good chicken salad, and it's awesome.
Well,
You ever eaten there, Ron?
down there? I've not been down there probably in about a year.
Yeah.
I'm disabled and I stay at home, but and Mother passed away in 2015, so I don't know exactly what they have, Willie, but I do know now the last time I was in there, they still had all that food.
They still make those sandwiches, good chicken salad, and
Now, so all of our listeners that hasn't stopped at Central Drug there on Keith, right past the post office, you need to go in there. That's a local business,
Yes.
and we like
Right.
to support those. There's nothing wrong with those, what I call big box stores or chain stores. Nothing wrong with the McDonald's and the Logans and all that. I eat at all those, but I try to pick out a local place to eat at least a couple times a week.
Right.
So that would be a good one for you.
it's they have really good stuff, still some of the best chicken salad you can buy.
Yes.
Yeah, they always had some really good food down there. And when I worked, I went every day and ate lunch with Mother the days that she worked. I'd go down there and eat with her. But anyway, I'll not take up any more time. I'll get off here. I just wanted to say a few things about Central Drug and my beautiful mother, and I miss her so much I can't hardly stand it.
Yes, they never go away, Betty. We always have them, in our heart.
Oh, I know. And she was a good mother, and I love her to death, and I always will.
She tried so hard to raise a good girl.
I like that one, didn't you, Brenda?
I'm holding my fist up right here, Ron.
You say your mother, you just played a floozy in a movie.
Everybody always, I always thought I was Liv's sister.
Uh-huh.
Everybody in town, they said, your sister, that's your but it wasn't, because those sisters worked for me at Bledsoe's, Shirley and Helen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the baby, and I was their boss.
Right. We'll see, Brenda.
All righty.
All right, bye-bye. Hey, you can call us here at 614-5553. Got Jerry Crumley Gregg here and Jerry Bale Brantley. Did I get it right that time? Did I get them both right?
Yeah.
All right. And they're talking about downtown Cleveland, the old days of downtown Cleveland. Hey, go ahead, caller. You're live.
Hey, Ron, this is Kathy Elkins. I think the lady that's on the radio this morning,
yes.
I remember going in Bledsoe's and buying, this was in the early 70s, like 70 or 71, and buying my swimsuit, for the summer. And she asked me if I would be willing to have my picture made because Beecher Hunter was looking for, they were going to take a snapshot because this was in like March and it was supposed to be bad weather the next day or two, like snow flurries. And I said, sure. So they sent a photographer. We lived off South Lee Highway, and I'm like a freshman at Cleveland State. And they take a picture of me in a swimsuit standing next to a blooming forsythia bush because it's spring and said, well, could you just like get a glass of iced tea or something, hold it in your hand. So they took a picture. Then, I don't know if that was over the weekend or whatever, then I was called out of class how they found my schedule. I don't know. Of course, that was in 71, and, you know, there weren't security concerns. And they got me out of class and had me pose with a snowball because there was snow on the ground that morning. And then I had on a coat, you know. And so a day or two later, or maybe the next day, on the front page, really big, is a picture of me in this hippie swimsuit, and right beside it, in this coat, you know, holding a snowball with a caption about unpredictable spring or something. And my husband now, but the guy I was dating, John, was in the Army, and I guess word spread. I don't know. Somebody sent in a picture. It's like, what are you doing on the front page?
Well, see, now, from a history standpoint, we'd like to see that picture, Kathy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I bet you got that, hadn't you, Kathy?
I actually told John, I said, he said, I still have that picture because I think I had it in my Foot Locker. It was like, wow, that was a blast from the past. But I remember always going to either Thomas Hills or Bledsoe's and getting, you know, a new swimsuit for the summer. And that just, it really didn't seem odd at the time. It's like,
those were good days, I tell you. That
for somebody to be on the paper, okay, that'll be fine.
Yeah, we need to see that picture again, Kathy.
Kathy worked at Dooley's.
Yes, she did.
Yes, I did, but it was, funny coincidence. Of course, the weather now, you know, everything's all predicted weeks ahead of time, but I guess that was a big deal then. And I remember the only comment my sweet mother made was, could you not have gotten a nicer glass than a jelly glass? You know, because we used to wash them out. Well, you know, can you just like, you know, hold a glass of iced tea in your hand next to this forsythia bush? Sure. And I ran in the kitchen and got, of course, we always washed out those jelly glasses.
Bama jelly jars.
Jelly jars.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a nice memory to bring up. Thank you, Ron, for all you do. I consider you and Debbie as our official Bradley County and Cleveland historians. What's Ron and Debbie Day?
Well, I don't know about that. You know, I've got to make up for all the things I did wrong first.
But Kathy, it sure has been good talking with you. I bring back some memories there, you know.
I know it. It was nice to hear your voice and think that now that would seem unreal that somebody could get you out of.
Yeah, I'll think my voice is what everybody remembers.
I think it is too.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, y'all have a good Saturday.
Great talking to you,
Thank you, Kathy.
Bye.
Kathy appeared in our documentary about, we called it Where Did You Eat? So it was about all the restaurants that used to be here that are gone before there was McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chickens and even created, you know, like the Grand Lunch and the snack and all the little neighborhood snack bars and the coffee cup and the teddy bear and the Spot and the
Ruby's
Rebel.
Diner was the name of it.
And the Bear's Den and gosh.
At the little old fort, too, down there next to Mullinax when it was down there.
That thing's still in business, too.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
called the Diner on First now, but yeah. And the Dixons run that for a while. James Dixon or Albert Dixon ran that for a while, and then his son ran it, Jimmy. Hey, good morning, you live on Old Town Cleveland.
Hey, good morning. It's RD.
Hey, RD, how are you, sir?
Under the weather today.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, you know, happens to the best of us, my friend. So, did you all ever know a fella, he was in the car business around here for years and years, named Bill Goins?
There's some Goins.
Are you talking about Clinton Goins?
I knew him as Bill. He was a large man, World War II vet.
There was a Goins car lot out on APD 40 there for a while. But I can't remember which Goins that was.
I know Quentin Goins worked for Cletus Denton for years. He was
I knew him as Bill. He was a good guy. I knew him later in life, after till 88. But I got a pretty funny story about him.
Go ahead.
Well, he was sitting in a local pub one afternoon drinking a beer. Bunch of us just talking. Bill was a good guy to talk to. Knew everything about cars, every vehicle ever made. So there was some TV show on the television there playing in the background, and it was about UFOs invading the show on some ridiculous TV show. So there's one scene where they're in a junkyard and these people are running from these UFOs. So they show like an old station wagon there, and Bill goes, "Oh, yeah, it's one of them old. That's a 1962, Chevy wagon that's got a 283 torque flight in it." And next thing is, "Hey, there's one of them old. That's a 1950-something, Dodge pickup truck. Had, thread, blah, 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 blah." So we're all, we'd look at TV every now and then, and talking. So it shows this UFO coming after these people, and old Bill goes, "Hey, there's one of them old flying saucers." He goes, "I have no idea what they had in them."
Flying saucer.
Boy, we laughed. We about fell over laughing, It was just the way he, I don't know what they had in them. But I didn't know if I always liked Bill. And there was another old fellow, Jim, Carmichael, I think. He come in one day and sitting there talking to him, and I noticed he had shaved off half his beard, an old stubbly beard, and he'd shaved it exactly down the middle of his face. One side was clean shaven, the other side was stubble. I was looking at him, talking to him, and I'm like, well, maybe he forgot, I don't know, to shave half his face. And finally I was like, "Hey, man, what's going on with the half a beard thing, He goes, "Well," he says, my wife hates this beard. She says it tickles her back when we sleep. So that's the side she sleeps on, so I just shave that one side."
That's a pretty good tale.
I said, "What are you thinking, man? You look like a fool, So, now there was another guy around me that called him the Watch Doctor. Is that the guy who fixed the clocks? He was an older World War II man.
Wouldn't been Claude.
No, it wouldn't have been that.
And I always knew him. We always knew him as the Watch Doctor. He was trained in World War II to fix watches. Believe it or not, they had people that they trained to fix watches. And as the graduating thing, he still had it. He had this thing, and I wanted it so bad. But he had a handmade, it's a Rolex watch. He was trained by Rolex after he got out of the war. And he had, from boxes of parts, this is what he told me, he built this Rolex watch from pieces and parts. That was his graduation thing, and it was a visible action Rolex watch. You could actually watch the little wheels and the jewels and everything move around inside of it. And I was like, man, there's no telling how much that cotton picking thing would be worth, but I don't know what happened. He passed away years ago. He knew every dirty song in the world. He could come off with the most. I didn't know people talked that way back then. From the 1920s on, he could come off with the most filthy cotton-picking ditties. I was like, what? He's from another planet, man. But I do remember that cool Rolex watch that he had, It's just fascinating, all the little gears and whatnot in a one. Didn't know there was that much stuff in a watch.
I'd like to have the watch and a recording of all those old songs.
I don't know where you'd have to go out in the woods to play it. Some of those things were absolutely.
RD, I can't eat a pickled beet now without thinking of you.
I had some the other day, so. But y'all take care. Now, hey, garden's doing great. Tell you what, I've been getting squash in. My cherry tomatoes are starting to pop, and everything else. So hoping this rain goes good. So
I've ate about 4 or 5 tomatoes already, and I picked up, I don't know how much peppers. I picked bell peppers, banana peppers, cayenne peppers, pomelo, I never said that right, and habaneros yesterday. I picked a ton of those.
Ooh, those are hot. Yeah.
hey, I'll tell you a good pepper to try next year. I'm gonna plant. I'm thinking about getting a tractor and you're doing on a major scale and stuff. But try Santa Fe chili peppers.
Santa Fe chili peppers, okay.
Ooh, they sound bad, don't they?
No, they're the most delicious pepper. They got about 1/3 of the heat of a jalapeno, about 4 times the flavor of a sweet banana, and they're a thick, meaty pepper. They are absolutely
Santa Fe chili. Well, it sounds good.
they're the best pepper I've ever grown and ate. I'm telling you what. I wish I had 200 of them out there. I might next year too. All right.
All right. Hey, thanks, RD. Always good talking to you.
Y'all take care now.
Hey, folks, you listen to Old Town Cleveland here on Whoop FM 99.9, or you can go to the internet at www.whoopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. Jerry Crumley Gregg here. No, Willie.
Yeah.
I get my name. Willie Crumley Gregg, Jerry Bell Brantley here. They're both worked downtown and know a lot about the old days in downtown. They both started working when they were 3. So they're only about 30, 31,
That's
somewhere
right.
around there.
Somewhere around that age right now. That's right.
Don't forget the car show's going to start downtown here in a few minutes. If it's not already started, I think it starts at 12. I can't. And also the Tennessee Trail of Tears event up in Tellico Plains. If you leave here at 12 o'clock, you'll get there real easy. If you leave at 1 o'clock, you'll still be able to get there. But the doors open at 1. The program starts at 2. You'll get out of there by 3. There's the Charles Hall Museum's open free to the public today. If you've never been to the Charles Hall Museum, what an unbelievable place up in Tellico Plains. Hey, we got another call here. Hey, you're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Yes, good morning. This is Beverly Johnson.
Hey, Beverly, how are you?
Well, I'm not doing well. But,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I've got some problems, and I've got going to several doctors. But anyway, this is just such a coincidence that I have been thinking this past week about old times in Cleveland, downtown, especially when the Christmas parade would come through.
Oh, yeah.
And all that. But anyway, I had wondered about you, June, and I know you remember. You remember that lady that used to walk the streets we called Hollywood?
Sure do. Don't know her name, but I remember.
But I had to babysit my 3 granddaughters yesterday while their mom was at work. And so I got them down and started telling them about Old Town, Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they think that, only place they can shop is at Target.
Oh, right, yeah.
Target and Kohl's and Walmart. But anyway, I set them down and I told them how there used to be all kind of stores and drugstores and what all we got to do. And we went to town on Friday nights, and my daddy went and got groceries at Cook's Food Store and all that, But I was thrilled when I picked up my paper last night, or my paper finally got it to my house, and I always look to see what y'all's program is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, it was about Old Town.
Well, we've been talking about it, and I remember the Christmas parade, the JCs, of which I was involved in that. We ran the Christmas parade for many years, and of course it was in conjunction at first with the downtown merchants.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how they kicked off the Christmas season. And then later on, the village sort of put in a lot of money, and it became just the Cleveland Christmas parade and not always associated with downtown. So, but it usually would start at the old Magic Shelf, come under the underpass, go down through the town, and then circle back. And then it started going from Bradley High School later on, and a lot of changes. But it was a big time thing for the downtown merchants, and they used to put up decorations, beautiful decorations in downtown.
I
I know.
lights and things, banners across, and garland, and
Right.
and every pole had some kind of candle or something burning on.
Yeah,
You know.
we'd have something up. And it was fun decorating the windows, you know.
Wish we could go back to those old days, and especially for the Christmas parade and everybody, decorate. But most everything else, offices, offices, and a few restaurants, and there's no clothing stores,
No.
down there.
No, it's,
But anyway,
You go to Amazon now and order a thing, and it just comes to your house.
oh, I know.
No shipping charges, so.
No fun either shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having to babysit this weekend for my daughter, and every morning I go in where there's some big boxes sitting in the floor.
Yep.
And I went in yesterday, and I said to the girls, I said, what in the world is in these boxes? Well, that's the food that my mom ordered from Walmart.
Oh yeah, you can order it and drive up there, and they'll bring it out to your car.
Yeah.
Tell you what age we live in, but I'm out. Well, I've been out town right now. I'm sitting in the ball field here at Hopewell, because that's where I thought, well, my cell phone won't reach him. So I better get my call in real quick if I can.
Well,
But I'm enjoying it.
Beverly, we hope you get to feeling better, and thanks for calling in, and we thank you for listening too.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. And I want to mention something else that comes up the first Saturday of every month, and I tend to forget this sometime, but because I've had to be down here. But the McDonald Rotary Club has a breakfast. It's a fundraiser, and I think it's $6 a head, and you get bacon, sausage, gravy, biscuits, eggs, hash browns, drink. And, it is good, and it's for a good cause. They give a lot of money to the schools. I think McDonald Rotary, of course, McDonald Rotary is McDonald school's closed, so they have a lot at Black Box, and they do other things in the community. So we'd like to thank the Rotary Club. They just completed 50 years, I think, last year of in service. So thank them, and so try to go down there if you can think about it. It's just go down South Lee Highway. You get down to the across from the Handy Andy store. Turn right there. Take the next right, and you'll go up there to the Rotary Club building, and it's always a great breakfast and good crowds too.
Yes, they have good crowds. They
You'll see
really
people.
do.
Last time I was down there, I seen Tommy Jett from FLI. Tommy Jett.
Yes.
So seen Tommy down there, and it's the first time I'd seen Tommy in a while. So got to talk to him and run into a lot of people you don't know there. And if it's a political year, there'll be all kind of politicians down there.
Yes, that's what I mean.
If you like lies, that's a good time to go because there'll be politicians there.
And then that's the truth.
No, they don't lie. They're just a little short on truth sometime, I believe.
That's it.
Or facts. I don't know which one it is. I kid all my friends in the political world, some of them at least.
We mentioned somebody a while ago named Don DeFord.
Yeah.
Mr. Rainbow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back several years ago, when he was still around town and Mother and Dad still had the store, I ran into him on the street one time, and he asked me if I would go out with him. And I said, I don't think so. I said, you better ask my daddy. You better talk to my daddy about that. His dad, yeah. And he looked at me and he said, said, your daddy likes me. He said, he gives me all his old radios.
That sounds like Don.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Gives me all his old radios.
There's a lot of people downtown, and if you go through downtown, you may see a few of those. There's still some characters around.
There's still some around.
Yeah, Rainbow was just a great guy, though.
He was. He's a great guy.
Don DeFore?
Don,
yeah.
DeFore.
And then and the lady they called Hollywood, I have no idea what her name was, but she walked around and
But we could pick her out in the crowd.
she was called Hollywood because she had a lot of red lipstick.
Oh,
A lot.
And she used flour or something. for
Yeah.
her.
And then, of course, we had the angel that walked around for a while.
Yeah, but I reckon she's gone.
She is gone now, I understand. And somebody told me she had a skin condition, actually.
She did.
And so, and not making fun of any of these people, and they're part of our society. We had a gentleman sit on the front steps of the post office and sold pencils all the time.
Yes.
And I could never think of his name, and someone will call and tell me, and I think and of course nowadays, I don't think our younger generation accepts or understands that as much.
Right.
And I think we live in a scarier time now. I remember I lived a half mile from Oak Grove Elementary, and I could walk to school or ride my bicycle on Durkee Road.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Would you let your 6-year-old ride a bicycle a half mile on a dangerous road?
No.
No,
Oh,
really.
no, yeah.
No way.
If you run off in the ditch and hit a tree, that's part of growing up.
Yeah, right.
Well, and people kind of watched out for
Oh,
the
sure did.
kids too then, and now, my goodness, you're afraid that they'll watch out for your kids and take them off somewhere,
I think the rule at my house was I had to be within shouting distance of the house.
Right.
Because when they yelled, you left early in the morning, and then when it started getting dark, somebody stood on the front porch and holler your name, and you had to be able to get there pretty darn quick.
Right.
Or you was in trouble.
That's right.
So basically, I went far away real early in the morning and started working my way back. And I was
That's
going,
pretty good, Rob.
well, see, I was, but just then those childhood friends and childhood memories are just. But kids don't play with each other like that outside
No,
anymore.
No, they're playing with their
Cell phones
yeah.
and their little games and things like that. They use their thumbs really good.
So see, they're a society of their own.
Yes. Well, and we probably. You probably said that about Jamie. Oh, Lord,
Yes.
look what they're doing. And then your daddy probably said, oh, look what they're doing. And
and
we've all
everybody-
had it, and we all survive, It just, we all always think that our generation was better, and in our case it was,
Yeah,
But,
of course.
and the movie, we have to say the music was a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, you could
We
actually
understand it.
understand the
what they say.
words, and it had a melody
And a beat.
and a
A
beat,
meaning.
yeah. So, the movies were, you didn't have to worry about sending your kids to most movies because they were not obscene.
That's
They, I think I went and seen Cool Hand Luke, which had a little language in it, a little
Yes,
suggestive stuff every once in a while. The car wash scene in Cool Hand Luke's was the one that, that was that, but it wasn't like we have today. I mean, commercials on television today have more about sex than we did
in the movies.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's hard to explain to your kids what Viagra is for.
Yeah, there was some.
Well, I just knew. The only problem I think with Viagra is if you can't swallow pills, you end up with a stiff neck.
I like that one,
Yeah.
John. I hadn't heard that.
That's all the ones I'm going to tell. It may be like those songs RD was talking about. Where did your family go out and eat much when you were younger, or did you just eat when you were working?
Working mostly.
But now on weekends, did you go out and eat any, or was that a treat when you went out and
I
ate?
did not. Jerry not have. We lived so far out.
You lived out in the country, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do
You didn't
that.
get to Grand Ole Opry to Tuesday, did you?
No, that's right. We had our own because everybody in our family are musicians.
Sit there on the porch and play.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
sing and play, and a lot of them's gone on, but we had a great time. We created our own movies.
And it was mostly more like family gatherings,
Uh-huh.
when the cousins would come in,
Mhm.
or, being in Cleveland, and part of our family was in Michigan, part of it was in Alabama.
Yeah.
We was a good stopover.
It was a big time when everybody come in.
Yeah,
too,
when
wasn't it?
everybody come in. I had a aunt and uncle that they just loved to tell jokes. I mean, when you had them around, you had your entertainment.
Yeah.
And everybody we knew, when Uncle John and Aunt Ruth was here, everybody we knew came down on Central Avenue.
Yeah.
And we sat out on the porch and listened to them argue over who was going to tell the story or who was telling it right or who.
That sounds like
you know. I mean, it was that kind of stuff for entertainment. We didn't go anywhere.
No,
really.
Basically, we did our own,
shows
more than
and own
anything.
things.
Yeah.
We used to have community swimming pools. We used to have bands on Friday night down at the
Right.
National Guard Armory, and
Right.
we used to have wrestling.
Wrestling now.
RASS wrestling, and of course Harry Thornton was the greatest promoter I think in the world. He had it figured out, did he
He
not?
had it figured out.
He
I
had
think
people
so.
that wanted to get out there and fight those people. That,
Oh yeah.
They'd
That
say
was
those
fun.
dirty wrestlers.
There's I can't think of the Fargo brothers. We interviewed one of him on here, and he said that the Tojo Yamamoto was down in Chattanooga down there, and this lady says, "I'll hit you upside the head with a purse," and Tojo said, "Well, go ahead. How bad could that hurt?" Well, she had a horseshoe in his hand and knocked him out right there inside the ring. And I'm going,
Boy, that was a good one.
oh, the great stories. But, times were simpler and things, but being able to go downtown and go to the Princess,
Yes.
later became the Martin, or go to the Bohemia, and then to go to the Spot.
Spot. Yeah,
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
had to go there. And, Bradley High, we had a lot of our, before the big ball game on Friday night,
Yeah.
we'd have all of us down there cheering all this, learning what we was going to do. And it was good times, but we had to go to Spot to get us some malt, and then go up here and, let all these cheerleaders tell us what we was going to cheer about.
Get them Frosties out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll tell you something funny, too, is we lived down on Central Avenue, where my aunt lived down there, and we lived down in that direction. And you could sit out there on the porch, and you'd see people, the kids, pulling up in their cars, and what they were doing was they was hiding as many of them as they could get in the trunk to pull out and go around to the Starview Drive-In and see how many they could slip in, too.
That's right.
And then we all wanted to go to bingo night, too.
Yeah, it's on Wednesday nights. I don't know how they got away with that.
I mean,
in
we-
church,
We filled the trunk up with a couple guys one time, got in there, and the left went on down to the concession stand, and we go back and they're beating on the thing. Yeah,
Supposed to pull on that back row and let everybody unload.
that's right.
'Cause
That's what we did. We didn't let them unload. We just went down and went on and got our hot dog down there.
Right.
Of course, we tell if you had a date at the Starview.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a date, you parked down there close to the concession stand so you could see all the girls walking in and out.
That's right.
If you had a date, you parked on the back row. Yeah.
And then
Boy.
they had that dancing, you get out there and dance, and several guys I still remember in that band they'd have.
There was
they was
Mr.
superb.
West was the projectionist. I can't think of his name, but someone posted a picture of him the other day. Peanut West.
Peanut, that was
Yeah,
his
I
name.
can't think of it. Was it Josh or maybe Josh West was his real name, but I always called him Peanut.
Peanut's what he
And
was.
a friend, that was his, my friend's grandmother's brother, who Peanut was. So we always got to go down there and talk to him. We'd go in there and sit and talk to him, watch him load the film and stuff
Yeah,
in
he
there.
was.
That was a hot job.
That would be very hard.
And, of course, and I'll get into this real quick, and it's about time to go, but I remember when the Princess Theater had an upstairs area, and it was for blacks only to go up there, and then they couldn't sit downstairs. But now that changed a little bit, and they just stopped using the upstairs time I got a little older. But that was sort of just, I thought those were better seats. I wanted to go up there and sit.
Well, most times they were.
Yeah, but we saw that change. We talked about the courthouse, how they tore down the blacks and only white water
Yes.
fountains, and blacks started being on television. And
Yes.
this is surprising to some of the young people. Is that blacks weren't on television? No, not much. Bill Cosby, which is down there, was on I Spy. I think was one of the early
Really?
TV shows
That was
where
one-
black was actually featured as a star on there
Yes.
instead of a waiter or a butler or something of that nature. And so times were changing for all of us. And then we got into the Vietnam era, and I think we changed as a society quite a bit after Vietnam.
I think so. I think we really made a change right there.
And some of it good, some of it bad, But How many trucks do you ever see hit the underpass?
Well, I tell you, there's been a lot done. They just cannot.
Somebody told us, the big cow that Mayfield.
Yes.
That they hear on the wagon, it tried to go underneath there and ripped Daisy's her head off.
Yeah, she didn't make it.
But
that was a good story, somebody else. We'd run down there and see who run it then,
who was the city policeman back in that pulled you over all the time?
Oh,
Snow Kaler.
Snow Kaler, yeah.
Of course, Bernard Schneider was
Bernard
right.
Schneider's pretty bad. It pulled me over.
Well, Bernard, I won't tell you the whole story, but Bernard pulled me over for my first time I ever got pulled over. The first time I ever was taken down to the jail for my daddy.
Yeah.
I would not have been too bad off if I hadn't waved at him, and I didn't use all my fingers when I waved at him. I was pointing at him a little bit, and he was in his private car and blowing his horn, flashing his lights by me, and I didn't slow down, or I wasn't going fast. My car wouldn't go fast. It made a lot of noise, and but it sounded like I was going 100. But yeah, I waved at him a couple of times, and like I say, after he had called in and on his radio and got cars surrounding me, they took me to the jail, and my daddy had to come get me. And I wasn't in trouble for going too fast. I was in trouble for waving.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
Yeah, that's the part I got in trouble for. So
that would be the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you learned your lesson. Make sure you know who you're waving at first. I didn't learn not to do it, but hey, ladies, 2 hours is gone.
Yes,
can you believe that?
I can't believe it.
Well,
Had
now,
a lot of fun.
You ladies have done a great job. We appreciate it. I'd like to thank you for coming in, and we always tell everybody every week that the important thing for all of us to do is try to save history. When someone dies, history goes with them, no matter how old or young or they are. So talk to your grandmothers, aunts, uncles, moms, and dads, and get them to tell you the stories that you've heard. Write them down, record them. Get your video camera out, which you can do with your phone now. Take a video of them and do that video.
That's a good.
Go into your house. Go get those pictures out of that shoebox.
Exactly.
Or out from up and under the bed, as they used to say.
Yeah.
Get them out. Start looking at them and go up to Joe. What's the office supply company uptown? My mind is Joe Rogers.
Joe Rogers.
Go to Joe Rogers, and he'll sell you some labels we call archival.
Yes.
An archival link so it won't bleed through the pictures. Put this on there. Write who's in the pictures, and then start sharing those pictures. And also, put in your will where those pictures go. If your family don't want them, donate them to the Bradley history branch at the library. I'll get you right. The Cleveland Public Library history branch has thousands of pictures. You need to take it to them, and they'll scan them, put them in their folder. They've got hard copies of thousands of pictures up there. So if you're ever looking for something really rare, you can go up there and see Margot Steele, and she'll give you a little book to look them up, and you may find what you want. But there are a lot of pictures unnamed. So if you'll write those names on there, and you'll be surprised now with Facebook, if you don't know everybody in that picture, just put it on Facebook, and in 10 minutes, somebody will take everybody in that picture.
I've seen that done.
It's up to you to save the history. That's what we try to do here. In a few days, this program will be on YouTube, and you'll be able to see it again. I'll send you the link, so you'll be able to see that. Unless something broke. Sometimes the system breaks and we don't get them recorded. But we'll have this. Then our plan is to make copies of all these programs we've done and donate that to the library, so there'll be live interviews for people in our that's been in our program that went on. We've unbelievable amount of people we've seen over 8 years now. We've been doing this.
Isn't that amazing?
This is 8 years today.
That's interesting.
How's that? You're on our 8-year anniversary program. Wow. So,
I think that's interesting.
Hey, folks, and as always, we try to say, we'll always remember Pearl Harbor, but will we remember Aunt Pearl? Who knows? It's up to you. See you next week on Old Town Cleveland.
Hello, I'm Shelley Duvall.
And you're listening to WOOPLP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.